Hey guys, it's Kay from KS Anonymous, and I am back today with another episode of r/Tales from Retail. Well, I guess that's one way of cleaning your shoes. Firstly, thank you all for this amazing sub. As a fellow retail worker, it's really nice to talk with people who understand. I originally posted a two-part, very long, longest post I had ever made, about a crazy day that happened 3 weeks before lockdown. This got auto-deleted, but a very nice mod said I can post one incident from the day here, so let me set the scene. I, 30 female, work in a popular high street store, and on this day I was assigned to door duty, meaning I had to make sure there were only 500 people in our store. It's a huge store with 4 floors, because they were short-staffed that day. Most customers were pretty good and wore masks. Sadly, not all were so understanding. Of all the difficult customers, I had this one I think was the worst, because it was, to me, a surprise how he acted, but in hindsight, not so much. This difficult customer just walked straight into the store, and when I jumped in front of him and asked if he had a mask, he made a grumbling noise, and after a moment, staring at me, pulled it up. It was just under his shirt. Because of that, I didn't think there was an issue. Wrong. When he got to our sanitizer station, which is about 12 feet away from me, he starts shouting, "This one ear," pointing at me, "says I need to wear a freaking mask, but the hand sanitizers are not working." Before I could say anything, another customer near him said, "Maybe if you look where you're putting your hands, that would help." As the sanitizer was working, but takes a moment. So, as he was too busy looking at me and shouting, he got the stuff all over his shoe. What got me was the fact he made a fuss about wearing his mask. Why would he care if his hands were clean? Just want to end with a huge kudos to all those retail workers still working through this pandemic. Big hugs to ya. Not completely related. Because okay, so I work at a gas station. We don't require masks, we simply encourage them. However, employees are required to wear masks at all times when on the store floor. So we can go in the freezer and not wear our masks, but I have asthma, so I wear my mask in there because it helps me not to have asthma symptoms. But yeah, so we have these plexiglass shields and stuff, so it's not, I don't know, I'm not super concerned. Literally part of my job is every 2 hours going around and spraying sanitizer on every touchable surface, so I mean, I'm not super worried. Either way, fun story I was very amused by. So the other day, this man walks in and, I'm feeling extra social. So I'm like, "Hey, how can I help you?" And he says, 2 things. First, why is it whenever I walk into this store, it smells like a fart? I was just like, I'm sorry. The problem is that, I burst out laughing because seeing a grown man ask me why my store smells like a fart. But he's not wrong. Okay, so it smells like rotten eggs. I'm not kidding you. So sometimes it's totally fine. It'll even start smelling like coffee and pizza and stuff like that. But then out of nowhere, it starts smelling like someone just exploded a whole thing of rotten eggs. It's so bad. We think it's coming from what they call end caps that are refrigerator things. And there's suspicion that it's the mold in there, but I don't understand how it's happening at random times. Either way, we literally prop open the door and it still doesn't. We can smell it so strongly underneath our masks. I was dry gagging, dry heaving. Yeah. It was that bad. It's disgusting. So just seeing this grown man walk in and ask me why every time our store smells like a fart. I'm sorry, man. I don't know, but it's not us. And then he wanted me to give him 100s for 20s, which is usually the reverse of what people want, so that was interesting. Anyway, so I work front desk / admin for a window / blind install company. Most of my work is done on the computer and phone, but occasionally I get walk-ins. First thing this morning, I return a call from a customer who left a voicemail. We'll call her Karen as usual. Karen placed an order with our sales representative last week on the 11th, and I've been trying to get a hold of her ever since to get her on the schedule for an install after her items arrive. It's the holidays, the big C affecting our country, and our warehouse in California, so shipping is a bit slower than usual. I tell her that we can do the install on January 4th or 5th since the items will leave the warehouse on December 28th. I got a voicemail from her this morning, and she said the 4th or 5th is fine. Now, this is where I think the misunderstanding was. I call her back, and I state again the 4th or 5th, and here's our exchange.
Well, why is it taking so long?
I assume it's the material shortage. Our warehouse for these items is in California. Maybe the spike in sea cases pushed things out.
That was only a week ago. Honestly, this is false advertising and you're lying to people.
Ma'am, we don't set the dates. We just do the order and install. They are all estimated as it is. It could be...
Well, you need to tell the manufacturer that they are falsely advertising. I want you to do that for me.
I go quiet for a second, and I won't lie, I lay my head down on my desk and sigh. Okay, I can do that, but the shipping...
Obviously, you don't care. I won't get anything done for me. Just cancel my order. I want a refund.
Okay, I can do that, ma'am. I just need to speak to our representative first to cancel the order.
Well, it's clear you don't care about my situation, and I know you won't get this done, so I need your full name and number.
I do care. I will actually be the one refunding you once the order is canceled. I just need to verify the cancellation with our representative and the manufacturer first. She gets kind of quiet after that. I tell her my info and she hangs up. I won't lie. I got a bit short with her after her telling me what I don't care about. Almost every single customer is on slow ordering now, and I do my absolute best to keep them updated. Also, I've called her and emailed her a total of 4 times trying to get the info to her, but I guess I don't get anything done. Also, again, our warehouse is in California. There's the sea, the wildfires, a material shortage, plus the holidays are coming up and the warehouse closes the entire week of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. Also, if she didn't keep talking over me, I would have loved to tell her it's just an estimated date. 99% of the time the products show up much earlier. She would probably have had her items by mid-December, and if that was the case, I could easily reschedule her to an earlier date. I honestly think she thought I said December 4th or 5th over the phone originally, and instead of saying it was a misunderstanding, she just flew off the handle. To top it off, the representative told her it would take about 6 weeks for the order to move out, so that's not very far off from the date the manufacturer predicted the items will leave the warehouse, the 28th of December. The lady is not taking the holidays into account. But she'll get her karma, I guess. I told our representative everything, and he's going to talk to her. But since she took almost a week to respond to me, she's not getting her deposit back. Update. Coworker tried to smooth things over with her. She was nasty to him too. Won't be getting a refund, but she canceled anyway. $1,200 down the drain for her, so new blinds for me. I feel bad for my coworker though, but at least he won't get money taken from his sale. Imagine wasting $1,200 because you're an idiot. Like, honestly, like, why? Okay, but like,
You don't care about me.
like, are they, honestly though, like, okay, do you honestly expect random people that you call for business to, like, care about you like you're their own mother or something? Like, even if they did or didn't care, like, don't tell people that. Like, a lot of people, you know, despite the abuse they endure at their jobs when they have to talk to customers, really do love, you know, helping people and, you know, care about stuff. And so, like, yeah, it's absolutely rude to tell someone what they do or don't care about. And just because you're an idiot about the dates a little bit, like, $1,200. Are you kidding me? You gotta be stupid like that. Oh my gosh. So for context, I work in a state that doesn't allow you to sell alcohol if you're under 21. This story happened about a year ago. I was working an evening shift and this very clearly intoxicated man comes to my register with a case of beer. I could smell him from the end of my conveyor belt. He gets to the front and asks for cigarettes, so I direct him to the only register that can sell cigarettes. The cashier on that register is under 21 also, so I notify a manager that the cashier will need assistance soon for an alcohol sale. I also mention that the man is clearly intoxicated and therefore cannot purchase the alcohol. Not sure if it's the law or just store policy. He finally gets to the front of the line again, and the cashier rings up everything but the alcohol. The manager goes to the register and informs the man that he cannot buy the alcohol because he's clearly intoxicated. He argues that he walked there and should be allowed to purchase it because he isn't driving. This confuses my manager and leads to 2 or 3 higher-up managers coming to the front to try to sort it out. This is when I hear the cashier behind me screaming something I can't remember exactly, but it was something along the lines of,
"That's my stepdad! He's an alcoholic!"
and
"I'm calling my mom!"
The cashier runs over and begins yelling in her stepdad's face while calling her mom. When her mom answers, the cashier tells her what's going on, and the mom starts yelling at him too. Long story short, he didn't get his alcohol, but he might have gotten a divorce. Not the craziest story, but definitely an eventful scenario to watch unfold. Imagine. Y'all, that is like reality TV in real time. Hey, at least, you know, he was stopped from buying the alcohol as an alcoholic. Like, he wasn't able to continue to feed the addiction in that moment. But, you know, how things like that go, unfortunately, it's likely he'll get his hands on something. But I don't know. I feel like he kind of had it coming to him. Like, when it comes to being an alcoholic, not just like, oh, you know, you like to drink alcohol. It's like, you're an alcoholic. That usually means you're, you know, putting money down the drain. Some people become very much not like themselves, angry, physical and stuff when they are drunk. Obviously, if you're addicted to alcohol all the time, you know, it might mess with your job, etc. So I don't know. I kind of think he had it coming to him. It's kind of interesting. There was actually a guy who came in to my work and he wanted to buy something, but he like seemed like he was in a rush, and he was dressed pretty nice and had like the Bluetooth kind of headphone kind of thing in, like he was like, you know, he was in the middle of things and he had to get going and stuff. And so I see him come in. I know that like I'm gonna have to try to get him out as quickly as possible. You just can tell by his body language. He comes back to the register really quick, you know. So I'm trying to get him through. And as he gets in his car, my trainer comes up to the cash register area, looks out the window, and she says, "Oh my God." And I'm like, what happened? Like, you know, is something bad happening? And she's like, "That is my grandbaby's deadbeat dad." So like she looked like she was tempted to go out there and get him. And so I was like, well, he seemed like he was well dressed and stuff. And she's like, yeah, he looks like that, but he's not. Like, he doesn't have any money. He doesn't do anything for his kids. He's just a terrible person. So I guess he was like rushing because he knew she worked there and didn't want to get berated. So that's fun. Okay, usual warnings. I'm on mobile, and while English is my first language, I do have dysgraphia, so apologies in advance for any spelling and grammar errors I may have. I work at a gas station in a small town in the US. For many years, all of my life, the legal age to buy cigarettes here was 18, but on December 20th, 2019, the president signed legislation amending the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act and raised the federal minimum age for sale of tobacco products from 18 to 21 years. So almost but not quite a whole year ago, the law was federally changed, so it's the law everywhere across the entire country, in every state, in every county. Whether or not anyone, including myself, agrees or disagrees with this, it's the law, and as a cashier, I have to follow it, or not only could I be fired, I could even be arrested. That brings us to just last week. I'm having a typical work day, and all is going normally when this guy walks up to the counter wanting a pack of smokes. I forget which brand. I grab the cigarettes and scan them and then ask to see his ID. This is where he either had an extreme level of confidence or really thought I was stupid. The following conversation makes me think he thought I was stupid or not paying attention. See, in the state I live in, the ID of those under 21 will say on them in red letters, under 21 until insert random date. In the case of this guy, his ID said he was under 21 until 2022. I'm sorry, sir, but you have to be 21 in order to purchase cigarettes. It's okay, I'm from another county. They sell to me all the time. I'm sorry, but it's a federal law. There's nobody else here. Nobody has to know. I'm sorry, I can't help you. I hit cancel on my register and put the pack of cigarettes back on the shelf behind me. Dude legit stomps his foot. I've dealt with some Karens in my time, but so far no one beyond the age of 10 throwing actual temper tantrums. He leaves, slamming the door as he exits. I watch out the window as he hops into his purple sports car. He revved the engine and peeled out of our parking lot as if being chased by demons, squealing his tires as he does. Not even a minute after he leaves, the store phone rings. I answer, and on the other end is the cashier who works the liquor store down the road.
I'm probably too late because I had customers and couldn't call right away, but wanted to warn you about a kid trying to buy cigarettes heading your way.
Drives a purple sports car, claims to be from another county, isn't actually 21 for 2 more years.
That's him. He tried to bribe me.
Yeah, he just left here. I already told him no. We have a bit of a chuckle and talk about the strangeness of it. Although it's not the first I've had to deal with underage people trying to buy age-restricted items, usually they give up after the ID check. Never had anyone still try to get me to sell to them anyway, knowing that I know they're not old enough. I'm lucky that I haven't run into that quite yet. I'm not good at confrontation, but obviously it's illegal to sell to them. But like, I don't know like what happens when someone like keeps talking like. But like, no, like, you know that you know that I can't sell to you. So like, why are we still here? Why are we still talking? I had to check the ID of one guy because he was buying alcohol, and he got irritated because my manager reminded me. He looked old enough, but you have to check them if they seem like they're under 40. And I am a really, really bad judge of age. So like I look for things on people who like come up there if they have like gray hairs, and you can kind of see the wrinkles at the edge of their face, which is something I have to rely on because most people in the store do wear masks. So like you can kind of tell someone's kind of older. So that's usually what I rely on. Anyway, he looked really irritated that I asked him for his ID and stood there looking at me like, really? So I just kept staring at him, and he dug out his ID, and usually we can just scan it, which is really great because I don't have to determine if this ID is real. I don't have to look at the date. I just glance at the photo, make sure that looks kind of like you, and scan it, make sure we're good. But he actually had a card that was like from the Guatemalan consulate here in the US. So that was really interesting to me. But yeah, he was actually born the same year I am. So that was cool. Definitely old enough, but I don't know. I just want to share all my stories, okay? I work at a gas station now, and Tales from Retail is now gonna be a place I'm gonna comment a lot. I'm sorry, okay? Okay. So yesterday I was acting as manager on duty and was strolling through the store, making sure everything was fine, when I see a middle-aged couple gesturing towards me to get my attention. My first thought was, how rude, and went to see what the issue was. They started to ask for a shoe size, pointing to the size marked on the box, and then I thought they might be tourists who didn't speak the language. No problem, I just started to speak slowly and clearly and throw some English in case they spoke English. When then I noticed they didn't have an accent when they tried to speak. It was more of a growl, and they spoke between them in sign language. That's when it clicked. They were deaf and couldn't hear a thing I said and couldn't read my lips. Well, I did my best to assist them by going with them through every shoe, looking for the size they wanted, and calculating the final price of shoes after promotions. Even gave them some of my personal thoughts on how specific shoes looked. All of that with basic gestures and mimics since I can't speak sign language. Although at the end I realized I could just take out my mobile checkout device and use the notepad app to write down some sentences, which helped a lot. At the end, they left with a shoe they were buying for a present for a really nice price, and they were extremely grateful for the help. This really made my day and made me realize that we usually remember and focus on those 1 in 100 customers who are rude and cause a scene, but don't pay attention to the vast majority of customers who are kind and grateful. Aw, I love these when they like seem like they're gonna be like another irritating customer, like rude people, and then it just turns out to be really wholesome and wonderful, and I like that. That's awesome. Anyways, that is going to wrap it up for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and drop a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Really quickly, I'd like to thank my patrons. Up on the screen, you should see my face palmers and my crazy case. Thank you all so much for supporting me in the way that you do. If you're interested in becoming a patron, checking out the original posts from today's video, or sending me an email for possible inclusion in a future video, all of that information is in the description box, so be sure to check it out. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!